Like, nobody would ever say LeBron should be grateful for the Cleveland Browns.
By end of day tomorrow, some of these teams' World Series dreams are going to be crushed. Insert cool sound effect. That should be one of the dictionary of the year words if it isn't already.
You're listening to She's the Fan, the sports podcast for the girls who want in on the conversation.
Brought to you by your sports BFF. I'm Heather.
And I'm Abby.
If you're enjoying this podcast, do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening, and also maybe share it with a friend. For more sports content, make sure you follow us at Your Sports BFF on Instagram and TikTok. All right.
Here we go.
Do it. NHL kicked off today. Yay.
Today.
Hoy Aquarium is back. I will never not refer to hockey as that. Last week we talked about, because I was drafting, or I had just finished the draft for my fantasy hockey team. I'm nervous how I did, but I got Tyler Bertuzzi on Chicago, and he put up 2 assists tonight of their 2 goals already. So I'm excited.
That's exciting, though. Tyler Bertuzzi for the Blackhawks.
Yeah. So we'll see how the game goes, but if the rest of the season goes well or goes like this, we'll be in good shape. But I'm not confident in my fantasy pick. Although I did send ChatGPT a screenshot of like all of the teams and who drafted. And I don't know if it just told me this because, as we know, ChatGPT is biased.
Psychosis.
Yep. But it told me I drafted the best. It has a very well-rounded team with good depth, but also some breakout stars, and we'll see how that actually turns out.
Well,
that's my confidence in that statement is very low, but my hopes are very high.
I saw a funny post today. It was like, somewhere the dumbest person you know is chatting with ChatGPT, and it's telling them, you're absolutely right.
Oh gosh.
But in this case, I think that I agree with Chat this time.
Thanks. It is truly the stereotypical only girl in the fantasy group trying to win. Put those boys to shame.
You got close last year.
I did. I got second last year. And I was like very middle of the pack throughout the seasons. I think I've figured it out of like how to hack the system a bit. But yeah, hockey's back. Gonna be posting a lot on social media and rules, players, teams, all the things. So if you're not a hockey fan, follow along. We'll make you one. It is easily one of my favorite sports to watch. I think over the last few years I've gotten way into it, and playing fantasy hockey really does help, but it's fun. We'll have to go to some games soon. The bigger thing that I wanted to talk to, which I feel like was, as a Laker fan, the most stressful 24 hours of my life, LeBron and his decision part 2, which broke the internet yesterday for like 24 hours, everyone thinking that he was going to retire, posting, if you missed it, he posted a clip of him sitting down face to face to like an interview and kind of like taking a deep breath or whatever. And then it said the decision part 2. And everyone knows the decision was when he moved from Cleveland to Miami. I'm taking my talents to Miami.
I didn't know what that decision was. I was just going to ask what's the decision one.
LeBron is from Cleveland. Like, he's from Akron, Ohio. He's grew up rooting for Cleveland. He's a Cleveland guy, do or die. And so he ended up getting drafted to Cleveland, and it was like a big deal because when players end up going to, like, it doesn't always work that way, right? Like, players don't always go to their hometown.
Local, yeah.
And Cleveland very much thought they were getting a like franchise star from start to finish. Like, a lot of guys stay at a team for the majority, if not all, of their career. Like, if you are that good, that's kind of how things went historically. Now we've seen a lot of people move around, but like, think of Steph Curry or well, we thought Luka was going to be last year at Dallas, but then the trade happened. So there's stuff that can happen these days, and I think it's less likely that a star is going to stay in one spot. But Cleveland very much thought they had LeBron. They were going to win a championship, turn everything around. Years go by, it's not happening. And so his free agency comes up where his contract is done and he can decide where he wants to go. And he did this huge press ordeal, like national broadcast, I feel like. I think it was probably on ESPN. And it was like an hour show of where like, for this big announcement. And he finally said, "I'm taking my talents to Miami." And that's like a famous quote from it of like, I'm taking my talents to South Beach or something. And so the decision part 2, naturally, everyone thought he was going to retire.
This is like a monumental decision.
Yeah. So this is 23rd season. He's an old man, especially when it comes to athletes. And he's not really actually an old man outside of that, but he's like the granddad of basketball right now. He's not even like Unk status. He is just like, he is. He's definitely not the oldest player out there, but he's had injuries, like his body, but he wants to compete. Everyone thought last year he was going to play and then retire after because Bronny, his son, joined the Lakers last year and then was sent to the G League, which is like the developmental league. There's a lot of speculation, but the decision part 2 was essentially like everyone thought it was going to be he was announcing his retirement, and that could be like before season, or this is going to be my last season. And no, it was a ad for Hennessy. And I gotta say, whoever put this together is genius. I'm annoyed by it, but it has every single person talking about it.
Yep. I mean, yeah, a marketing genius, but
As
really bad.
Not ideal. I saw it, and the comments on the TikTok or the comments on the Instagram post, it was like everyone that I follow was just like, "Oh my God." Like my heart just stopped. Like, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. Like all these like hilarious comments from teams, from players, from, I don't know, probably not players, but a lot of like the content creators and people I follow. So relieved. As of now, we have LeBron. I will say, I think the Lakers would be okay without him. We have Luka. We have some good players. I think we would have some funds to acquire some new players, if you will. But it just feels like an end of an era that I don't really want to see. Because if he goes and Steph goes and Kevin goes, then it's like all of these guys that I feel like were my
greats.
Yeah. So,
well, roller coaster.
Very much so. Long 24 hours. Wasn't that long. I just was like, what could it be? People were speculating. There were some people that thought it was an ad. A lot of people thought it was the retirement. Some people thought he was going to be the WNBA commissioner, as you were saying a minute ago. I think most people were kind of poking fun at like all the amazing things it could be. Yeah, it's just, he's a Hennessy guy, apparently. It was a good commercial. Didn't need to tease it like that. NBA preseason's going on. The season kicks off the end of this month, so we'll dig into more NBA stuff. But there's I think going to be some. I think it'll be a good season.
I don't know anything about the NBA.
NBA is my like I've been into hockey lately. Basketball's always been my sport. Shifting gears, we'll come back to basketball, but let's dive into MLB. Playoffs are going on. Just quick little status update, and we can talk about it. So Mariners and Tigers. So we're in the division. We're essentially in the quarterfinals of the World Series. They're in the teams that win these games move on to the division championship semifinals, and then there's the next round, which is the World Series. 2 games are complete for everyone. The third game start today and then tomorrow.
It's best out of 5 for this round, right?
Yeah, best out of 5, and essentially teams have now traveled to the second location, so the lower seed is now hosting. The Mariners and Tigers are tied 1-1. So the Tigers were able to Tigers were able to secure a win on the road, which is good for you, bad for me. But I think this one is going to go probably to all 5. We'll see. No?
Let's give them a show. No, I said, yeah, let's give them a show. That's what I think.
Yeah, why not? I think, but that is the only one that is 1-1. The others are all 2-0. The Blue Jays, I know, the Blue Jays beat the Yankees 2-0 at home. So Blue Jays are the 1 seed. And the Brewers, Milwaukee, who's I think also number 1, beat the Cubs 2-0. The Cubs are now hosting. So people will be talking about, I think the game is tomorrow.
I was just going to say, when's that game? That's going to cause a logistical nightmare for anyone who lives in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, Cubs are 4 p.m. tomorrow. And then so essentially that is a win or go home game. Same with the Yankees. The Yankees are hosting, win or go home. And the Phillies, Dodgers. This is the only one where the Dodgers are 2-0 against the Phillies. The Phillies is the higher seed. So it's a 2-3. But the Dodgers won both games on the road and now are going to LA. And yeah, tomorrow's if they win, Phillies go home. So there's a lot of potential that these teams will have the opportunity to win at home. It's not looking good for the Phillies right now because the Dodgers are at home, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for the Cubs. The Brewers are really good. I don't know if they can pull off a 3-game streak to win. That's the thing. You need to win 3 games straight from here on out. And the third game will be back at the top seed. Yeah.
So 1 here and then back in Milwaukee.
It's 2. It goes 2, 2, 1. Yeah.
I thought you meant like the next one after this one.
Yeah. No, it goes, 2, 2, and then 1. So by the time you're listening to this, because games are going on tonight, that could all have changed. But it's likely that by end of day tomorrow, some of these teams' World Series dreams are going to be crushed. Insert cool sound effect. Another playoffs that's going on is the WNBA finals. And we have another 2-0 situation. The Aces are up 2-0 against the Mercury. They won both their games in Las Vegas at home. The first game was a very, very close one. They kind of came back in the fourth quarter and Mercury missed a shot at the kind of end of the game to tie it or to win it. I forget. And then game 2 really it was not a blowout, but it was not, the Aces really like ran with it and Mercury kind of faded out. So Mercury need to win this. They're in Phoenix. They're going to bring the crowd. There was something that I just saw about the game, I think had to be pushed to 5 p.m. start in Phoenix. And the Mercury sent out a press statement to like the greater Phoenix area saying, please let everyone out early. Essentially kind of like a parent being like, I need my kid to be like let off school early because of X, Y, and Z. So that we can show support, get to the game, make sure that we bring the energy, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought that was kind of fun. Like that. But rewinding a bit, in game 2, Jackie Young in the third quarter scored 21 points, which was the record in a single quarter during the finals. So
Dang.
that was crazy. Yeah. So they, I think, with that 21 points plus Aja Wilson and like the rest of the team did great. That's how they just kind of took the lead, grew significantly. And then yeah, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm rooting for the Mercury. Again, give me some drama, make it interesting. I think they will. They're a good team. I don't think they're gonna go without a fight. But the Aces are also really good. It's best of 7. For the first time ever, it's best of 7. So it isn't
That's
it is
right.
yes.
Yep.
That's why they changed it, because it's like you win 2 at home and then you go, and it's hard to come back and win 3 straight. So it's best of 7. Yeah. We'll get a series.
This isn't the end yet.
No, it's not.
Very good.
We're guaranteed at least 2 games in Phoenix.
Will you tell me about all this off-court drums with
Yeah.
our WNBA commissioner?
Yeah. So last week, prior to filming, Nafisa dropped the bomb in her exit interview, which, if you haven't seen that, you're truly living under a rock in the sports world. But the drama hasn't really stopped. So Commissioner Kathy had a press conference of her own and essentially kind of denied everything. She claims she never said anything about Caitlyn. The remarks around Caitlyn were that she said she should be grateful for the platform the W has given her, even though Caitlin Clark was huge in college, not like coming
Right.
she would, yeah, it makes no sense. And then the other statements she kind of mentioned were taken out of context or da-da-da. And ultimately it's kind of like, well, one of you, someone is lying here, ultimately, is I think kind of what it comes down to. And Kathy is saying she's not going anywhere. Nafisa, after that press conference, was like, I'm no longer going to meet with you because you clearly don't take anything that I'm saying to heart or try to improve or like, think about what was really said. And so Nafisa's just like, I'm done. Kathy claims she's not going anywhere. I might have just said that, but that's happening. And I think depending on who you ask, it's different. A lot of the players have started to speak out against Kathy and in agreement with what Nafisa says. I saw Nafisa was talking with Kamala Harris on some speaker stage. I don't know what the event was. And so, honestly, my opinion, I don't think you can lead a league. I don't think you can lead a team. I don't think you can lead a company. I don't think you can lead a friend group. I don't think you can lead a group of people when you've clearly broken the trust and don't have the like level of respect from the players. Like you're never going to get anywhere. And so
Well, and like they would never like whether her comments about Caitlin Clark were true verbatim or if they were misconstrued, whatever. Nobody would ever say that about a male athlete. Like nobody would ever say LeBron should be grateful for the Cleveland Browns. No, that's football.
he's on the Lakers.
Well, I know, but I was going back to his roots when he started.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, wow. Would never guess that.
Nope. It's okay.
It is the Cleveland Browns, though, for football.
Yes.
Okay. Not all wrong. Anyways, okay. So they like you would never say like that would have never been said about a male athlete that
Yes.
them being in their league, they should be grateful for other sponsorships and things that they're receiving as a result.
Yep. I agree. It's interesting because I think majority of commissioners, I feel like, are disliked. Like, no, like they have to do what's best for the league. The players always want more. Like, it's never a like you're my best friend situation. But I think there's this understanding of like level of respect, like listening and trust from the players to some extent. And this is a whole this is a whole different level of negativity and like distance between at what we know is a very pivotal time with the collective bargaining agreement due date, essentially the end of this month. And so that's kind of that like looming piece. Essentially, I saw let me see if I can find this post, but I saw a post that broke down what essentially the women are wanting in the CBA. And essentially it's kind of like three different things. It's better revenue share. So players, again, I think we've talked about this, but the W players are not asking for the same level of pay as the NBA players. They want the same percent of revenue, of basketball revenue. So that's like a big piece of it. If the female athletes, the women athletes were making 50% of the basketball revenue, they would be getting paid millions of dollars, not hundreds of thousands or like thousands of dollars for some of them. Like would immensely increase their pay. NBA players get that. Kathy's thing is that they're still operating at a loss. And so they're not quite there yet where they can do that. My point is it's a percent of revenue. So like, wouldn't that, and this is where like, I don't.
It would grow.
Yeah. So it would be based on if there's not revenue, but there is revenue. We know there's revenue. And so like, where is that loss? Where is that loss? How does that all play out? I don't fully understand. I should dig into more, but that's kind of like what they're asking for. Number one, better revenue share. Number two, better investment on team owners. So better practice facilities, health, wellness, recovery care. Obviously, women go through maternity leave. We have periods. We need to miss games for different things. Like the off season, our players are still playing in the off season because they don't make enough to sustain their cost of their family. Yeah. So they go overseas. That's why Unrivaled was built. So they didn't have to travel overseas and they could stay with their families. There's a lot of reasoning behind this. Stars are getting hurt. We just saw like Kelce Mitchell from the Indiana Fever go out in the last game of the semifinals due to like insane cramping, which I feel like is extremely fatigue based. I mean, she was playing a ton. They didn't have a team, but I think there's a lot that can be done for that. So better investment by team owners and all of that. And then the third piece is the officiating. And this is kind of like the last straw. Obviously, Nafisa went down, hurt her ankle on the last play of her season. Essentially, the average pay per WNBA game for officials is between $180 and $425. The average pay per NBA game is $3K to $6K. So like they're saying you're not hiring.
Crazy.
I know the difference is crazy.
You get what you pay for.
Yep. And exactly. And essentially the quality of officiating, it's not consistent and so there's not like the games kind of go, it's hard for the players to better learn how to play in what's a foul, what's not. Like they're getting away with stuff and they're not. And it causes a lot of controversy, both in how the games are won and played, but also then with player injury and just like the health of the players. There's also some talk. Sue Bird actually brought this up on their podcast, but she thinks that they should go that you get 6 fouls per game before you foul out. To me, you get 5 fouls. No, you get 6 fouls. What am I thinking of? You get 6 fouls per game before you foul out. She's saying you should get 5. There's no reason that you should have 6. There's like not enough time to be played. It's 10-minute quarters. Essentially, that equates to you have 1 foul per quarter, and then you get an extra one so you don't actually foul out. If you do the 5th, you foul out. And then you have to learn not to foul. Like that was like a huge thing in Whitefish, Montana high school basketball that I played. It's like you have to learn how to not foul out. You can't just hack players. You have to be a better defender. You have to know how to not move when you're screening. Like you have to learn how to play in a quality of play that gets the job done, but doesn't do it poorly, essentially. I very much like that. I agree with that. And I think that the difference between the NBA and the WNBA is like the level of play is very different. So the NBA, you have kind of the more explosive, like finesse players. It's different. The W is like such a different. So many of the players have come out. I mean, like if the guys were playing in this game, if this was like the NBA, they would be so fed up with it. They like the reffing wouldn't fly. Like they would have a hard time because people are getting hacked. It's just like a very different level of play. It's not like you can dunk. It's not like you can just do the like finesse stuff as much. You're having to drive in, you're having to post up, it's almost kind of like basketball, like the NBA was a handful of years ago, where it was like set plays. You still have like the run game, but it's not quite, it's different. It's almost a very different sport to watch. And so there needs to be like, the fouls and stuff, I think like need to be thought about differently for how this game is played. I'll just say I'm in support of 5 fouls, but it's things like that like in the collective bargaining agreement, they're like players and coach, everyone's able to like talk about it, make change. And it very much just seems like there's no actual communication happening. So
Right.
I feel like the countdown begins. We're going to be in off season. So I don't really know what happens if they don't agree. But if they don't agree, ultimately the players could have like a walkout, which we won't see till next season, assuming nothing's agreed upon. The other thing that's going to happen is Unrivaled is doing all of the things that the W isn't correctly. And so there's going to be this shift and the W is going to lose and the Unrivaled is going to blow up. And so
which we haven't seen, like, is there any like historical precedent of that, of like leagues flipping like that?
Not that I know of. I mean, I was talking with someone about this the other day. Like, there's so many new leagues, and I think we're hitting a time where the traditional sports are needing to evolve in some ways. And so you have, for example, golf is a really good example. You have Live Golf that came out, and whether you like Live Golf or not, it has made the PGA have to think about how to evolve and continue to grow this fan base and keep people interested and like keep the heart of what golf is, but provide other things to move with the time. Basketball is gonna in like the pace of play, like you've seen the super teams, NBA, like these leagues make so much money that I don't think they're like you can't really compete against them necessarily. But yeah, baseball, we have the like Savannah Bananas and like that league that's blowing up, and like that is doing very well for the sport of baseball as a whole. It's fun, everyone enjoys it, like it's not bad baseball, and like it won't take over the MLB, but it's kind of rising the sport as a whole. So I think on the like second tier sports, when you think like rugby in the US, or I would even put golf in that category, or lacrosse, volleyball, some of these other sports that really don't have like aren't kind of the big 5, there's I think opportunity. Like I don't think the MLS, the National Women's Soccer League, not going anywhere. Will there be soccer's funny because there's like such a different model in England or Europe and like stuff. And so I don't know, there could be other leagues and teams do stuff. Who knows? I don't foresee that happening. But you also have like Tomorrow Golf, which is like the indoor one spearheaded by Tiger, and that's blowing up. I think different countries want in on that now. Like they want to send their top golfers, all the things. So no, I don't think we've seen like a
full flip.
But and I don't necessarily think we will. However, the pay is there, the support is there, the players are happier. Like I don't think we've ever had that. Like usually the pay is with the bigger league, right? And that's yeah. The other one is like volleyball. We've seen a lot of little leagues start, little professional leagues, and there's been some merging happening. And so they're trying to kind of be like, okay, let's just like do this instead of, we're not necessarily competing against each other, but we could combine resources and try to make this bigger. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think the W would go away, but if they don't figure this out, I think there's more potential than ever before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, crazy times. A lot of like not fun drama. So let's dig into NFL because there's some fun off-field drama this week. What do we want to start with?
I don't know. What you got?
Let's start with this. Justin Herbie, and Madison Beer officially hard launched. They shared a cute little pregame sideline kiss, and she looked so like like giddy. It was cute. And now that I know so much more about him, it's hard for me not to root for him. Like they're so cute. So
they're so cute. Like he's so private, and it's so funny like to see their little romance blossoming.
I know. She was with a couple of friends. She looked cute. They ended up losing the game, but yeah, she's officially entered her WAG era. Also, I saw a clip of someone social media team interviewing some of the Miami Heat players back to basketball, asking what WAG stands for. Do they know what WAG stands for?
Gosh.
And no one knew. And
that's so funny.
Mind blown how these guys they were like, oh, I maybe have heard of that before. I'm like, you have a WAG. How do you not know?
It doesn't surprise me. It should surprise me more. I'm not surprised, but that it's funny. It's funny that they like didn't know that. Where like for us, they're the WAGs.
That's like such like that should be one of the dictionary of the year words if it isn't already. You know how they like add words to dictionaries year after year?
To the Webster dictionary.
Yep. Add WAG, please.
What was the last word that they added to the dictionary?
I feel like they announce it at the end of every year, like a few of the words, and it's usually like slang, new.
In its June 2025 update, the Oxford English Dictionary added nearly 600 new words.
Okay, but
Merriam-Webster Dictionary named Riz as its word of the year in 2023.
Yeah, like Riz, goated, bussin', Delulu,
Zizivia,
dad bod, doom scroll.
Doom scroll in the dictionary?
Can you imagine learning English and
having to know the difference between butt dial and a booty call?
And like what would you think a doom scroll is though? Like I feel like those things need to be in the dictionary. Just like WAG should be in the dictionary. Petition to make it happen. Okay, back to sports. NFL, there are keeping us track. I gotta go play soccer soon.
Oh yeah.
Back to NFL. There's no more undefeated teams. We picked last weekend Broncos, Eagles, Bills, Patriots. I think you picked the Broncos, but I think you picked the Bills. I can't remember. I picked both Eagles and Bills because I
don't remember.
but they both lost. They both lost. The
Your picks both lost?
Yeah, I mean, I picked I don't think I really formally picked. It was more asking you because but I thought I wanted the Eagles to win because I have Jalen Hurts,
Yes.
and then I thought the Bills would win against the Patriots. The Bills were at home, and yeah, they lost. It was the first game that they did not look good. I will say that. They had some turnovers, couldn't get some penalties, couldn't get offense really ever going. Drake May is QB1 for the Patriots, and there's all this talk this week about him. I was gonna do a little profile on him. I'm a little skeptical. One big game isn't selling me, but
Yeah, that's not enough evidence.
yeah, not enough evidence. I've heard some quotes that he looked like the next big quarterback during that game. So we'll follow along, but I need more. I do think he's been doing well with the Patriots, and he has Stephon Diggs, who is Cardi B's baby daddy, right? And
Yeah.
did you see all the memes? There was a really funny photo of him, and it's like Josh Allen going this way and Stephon Diggs going this way, and it's like Stephon's eyes are like looking at the camera, like kind of sneakily, and Stephon Diggs won in Buffalo. He used to play for the Bills, and so that's why there's all the memes. There's some other good photos of him kind of like in the Patriots jersey in the Bills Mafia. And so yeah, but that was big upset. Sunday night game. The Bills had their like white jerseys, their rivalry jerseys as they're called this season. It was like all white. They had these like silver buffalo on the side. They were supposed to look really cool under the lights. And I saw something joking of like never wearing those again. So yeah. But Patriots making some moves. And then Broncos on the other side beat the Eagles. And same thing, Eagles offense. The Eagles have come under some scrutiny over the last 5 weeks, pretty much the entire season. They've been able to win up until this past weekend, but they haven't necessarily looked great doing it. And that's kind of been the talk of like the offense really isn't quite as impactful, if you will, as last season. And Jalen's come out like, yes, we're not necessarily playing the greatest. It hasn't been pretty football by any means. And he's kind of like, but winning is all that matters, and we're winning. And so then sure enough, they lost. The Broncos look good. It was a relatively low scoring game. The Broncos defense has been really good, and so they were able to just keep them low, and then they were able to get enough points on the board to seal the win. It came down to like a Hail Mary throw that didn't make it, and Jalen, I was so sad because I really could have used those points. I lost fantasy by I think 7 points or something, and there's a couple plays that had they hit, I would have won. But it was essentially like a big Hail Mary throw into the end zone. It hit hands, bounced around, but Jalen throws it and then sprints to the end zone in hopes that he might get some the ball kind of bounces up a lot of times. It was like truly trying to do everything. So I still love him. But yeah, they need to figure some things out. Otherwise, I could see this trending in the wrong direction for them. 2 other things, NFL. One,
What the how about the Lions?
oh, yeah. The Lions look really great. They had an easy game. They destroyed them. I don't like.
Yes, but they are now they're number one in power rankings.
Yeah.
Do I know what power rankings are? No, I think it's self-explanatory, but they are number one ahead of the Bills and the Eagles
Yeah.
because they're number one when you're first, when you're number one.
The Buccaneers also won and are 4-1. They beat Seattle on the road, which is a big win. They have this guy, Amika, who's been really good. He's a rookie. I know this because I somehow have him on my fantasy team. Big grab.
I don't know what I thought you were gonna say, but it wasn't gonna. I didn't think you were gonna say big grab.
Like a good pick.
Good
pick.
pick.
Put up a lot of points. Amika Egbuka. I think that's how you say it. But yeah, Bucks won. Niners won. Not sure how, but we're doing it. I don't think we're definitely not at the top of the rankings. Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Philly, San Francisco, Detroit, and Tampa are all 4-1 now. So yeah, I will say the Jaguars. So the Jaguars played last night. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and would have never at the start of the season thought that the Jaguars would be in talks for playoff contention and winning leagues and conferences, divisions, all the things. So that was quite a surprise. I watched the game. They looked great. We're able to put it together. And our little star, Travis Hunter, had a pretty good game. I think he had the longest catch he's had yet in the NFL. He's, remember, the rookie quarterback who plays both offense and defense. And he's really fun to watch. He's like, I feel like you can kind of tell like the young players sometimes with just like how they move and the energy they have on the field. And like, I don't know, he's just has all these little like cuts and moves that I feel like just looks like your body is 20 years old, not 30. And so he's fun to watch. But he also had someone special come to the game. Back in May, he sat next to this woman on a plane, and she posted a photo, like a selfie of the two of them, and it went viral. And essentially in her post, she was saying, like, I sat next to this young guy on my flight and I didn't know who he was. And he was such a, she said, you know, he was so polite, saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, offered to help with her bags. Everyone kept congratulating him, and I looked at his pants and realized that they were Jaguar pants. And so I asked if he was an athlete, and he said, yes, ma'am. And so they started talking. I think it was on the way to Jacksonville. And so that post went viral. It was a really adorable selfie of the two of them. And then last night, she was at the game and she got to go on the field. They took a photo. She had his jersey on, all the things. It was very sweet.
That's so cute.
Yeah. The like Travis Hunter craze, I feel like continues, and he just seems like a very nice guy. Very endearing. He tries to high five all the like front row fans in the end zone. Like I don't know. He just is. It hasn't gone to his head yet, essentially.
Yeah.
Which
we like to see that.
Yeah. And then the last thing, Jerry Jones is back in the news. And this time he is being fined $250,000 by the NFL for flipping off fans during the Dallas Cowboys win over the New York Jets this past Sunday. He claims he didn't flip them off. The photo, not so convincing for his argument.
I'm looking at the photo right now, and what else could that be?
I don't know. I don't get caught like with my middle finger in the air, like looking down from my private suite at fans that I just beat often.
I do, like, I appreciate that there's some accountability I do think that, $250,000 is a lot for throwing a bird, but
I know that man has it, but yeah, it's interesting. Like we've talked a lot about accountability, and I think leagues having more accountability for the players, the teams, the owners' actions. It's interesting to me what they do, because it feels like there's not really much of a
no rhyme or reason to it. It seems like random, and people are made examples for one thing, and then other things are let slide. And
yeah. I think like this is pretty public eye, so you got to do something about it. But I don't know. There's so many other like players will have sexual misconduct allegations and be going through all that stuff, and they're still, because they're good at football, on teams. So it's like, yeah, it's very interesting. And then like in the it's more fines are getting thrown out for talking bad about the league and the leadership, as more of like a try to like hush you. So it's kind of like, what is the right way to go about it? And like, I think free speech, if you will, is different than bad conduct. And so, but yeah, I don't know, the ongoing battle of how these teams should manage things.
Well, in free speech, we didn't touch on it, and I don't have a ton to say on it, but Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah.
So he like kind of popped up in the news again after Patriots beat the Bills, because reportedly he has banned any of the UNC players on his current team from speaking out about basically anything NFL related or like Patriots adjacent. So like there's this like so there's some like criticism, and just kind of, is this allowed for his players to have this ban?
Heard something about this, and I made the note. I don't understand why. Like, is he just that petty? He like doesn't want to see the Patriots winning without him, or like what? Like, do we have any idea like the why behind it?
No, I think it's just to avoid bad press, and in doing that, it was brought to light that it happened, and that is bad press in and of itself.
Is this a Jordan move or is this a Bill move?
I don't know about that, but I vote Jordan. I vote like, so that like what, because you would hate like if one of his players was like said something and compared his UNC coaching to Patriots or something like that. I don't know. Like I guess I can understand it, but I don't. I do think that it probably, like, the intention of it probably backfired and now makes him look bad, and like he's shutting up his players instead of there just being no negative press.
Interesting. I did hear, so Hulu was supposed to be doing a documentary on UNC and like Bill, and that has been canceled. So
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they're having like the boom of a season that anyone was like hoping for. And so it's just been negative press, all the Jordan stuff on top of it, and then a bad season. And so it's like, what would be, and they probably can't do anything with her. Like there's probably like
Right.
super weird restrictions that she's put into place. Yeah. So
Crazy.
we'll see. Okay, I think that's all I got. Do you have anything else for this week?
I don't think so. The one other thing that I saw NFL adjacent was Taylor Swift on Jimmy Fallon, and what she was saying about it was, her team and Jay-Z's team are very close, and they communicate freely and openly. So there were never necessarily any formal discussions about it, but there were maybe informal things. And her point was basically, as long as Travis Kelce is playing, that's his field, that's his thing. He's out there week after week in his territory, and that's not her lane.
I think,
Which I respect.
yeah, I could see him retire. He's close to retiring. He's maybe got a year or two left. I'd be shocked if he played more than that. So I could see her doing it after. I think what I've heard, I have no sources to actually like cite this, but I've heard that initially the issue was she wanted ownership of her full discography. Why are words so hard for me sometimes? And so she wanted full ownership of her music, which she now has. So I think that's why a lot of people speculated that she could be doing it this year. I get it. Like if imagine that the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl and you can't go into it being like, they're probably not going to make it. Like, I don't know. They're the Chiefs. They're haven't been doing well, but like, don't put them past it to like have a wild comeback, make it to wild card, and then somehow win those games. But like if he was in the Super Bowl, that would suck. Like
put like there's no
aside of who they are. Like you would want to watch the game, you'd be prepping and all of that. I don't know. Yeah, it would be a nightmare. So I don't think she'll do it till he's retired now that they're married. They're
not married yet.
Huh?
They're not married yet. They're engaged.
What did I say?
You said married. Now that they're married.
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. Now that they're engaged. I was like, did I? I don't, yeah. But I think she's gonna wait until her like full album plan is done. Like I feel like she has, again, I'm not a Swiftie, so I don't fully understand all this, but my understanding is I think there's going to be like she said she's going to release a certain number of albums. And so if I were her, I would wait and do it at the end of that and like do the full culmination. But I don't know, maybe she gets it out of the way.
I don't know. She's out there living in like, she's in the future. She's leaps and bounds ahead of all the rest of us.
Yeah.
But instead we get Bad Bunny, and I'm just excited to see John Hamm featured in the audience loving Bad Bunny.
Did you see him on Saturday Night Live?
Juan Hamon.
And then Bad Bunny showed the clip of himself dancing and then like hurting his knee. I saw it finally. Celebrities are just like us.
Just like us.
I'm really excited because I feel like I'm curious what the production will be. And I've been to Evaluate concert. I've seen a lot of clips. It's predominantly him. So I'm curious, like the dancer, like how all of that is going to come into
what's the show gonna be.
Yeah, what he'll do. I mean, I think he has a very unique angle naturally built into it. And I also heard him talking about his reasoning for doing it because he essentially wasn't going to perform in the US because of the ICE raids and just like anti pretty much everything that's going on. He doesn't get paid. You don't get paid for doing the Super Bowl. You actually lose money for putting on the production. But he thought it was an opportunity to bring Latin music to the US, to a global stage, to kind of push that forward. And so I get it. I think it's really cool. Like I said,
I'm excited.
Those that don't think that, because the music's so fun, it's happy. Like I don't know how you can't not. You don't need to know the lyrics to know it's like fun. Music is music. I don't understand.
There are plenty of English lyrics that I don't understand.
But yeah, 1000%. I mean, you know that's true about it. I'll be singing whatever I think it is, and I'll be absolutely incorrect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, countdown. Practice my hips.
Salsa, like Robert Irwin. Wasn't he dancing the salsa with his shirt off? Looking all scandalous.
So funny. Literally, the one clip outside the one you sent me was like a man reporting on it of Dancing with the Stars, and it was something around millennial women seeing the Robert Irwin clip, and then Googling his age, his date of birth, and then being like trying to do the mental math of like how many years apart is like whatever 2003 1991 or like whatever I forget what years he used, but it was funny. It was like how like what? It's almost 10. I'll say that. But I think he's just so fun. I'm not like attracted to it. I just think he's so fun. I've been following him for years on social. I just think
I loved his post. He was like on a plane. He was like when you're traveling and he was watching one of his dad's movies.
Oh, I think that's it. Well,
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next Wednesday again.
Maybe next Wednesday.
Maybe Wednesdays going forward. TBD.